Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial on Go for Data Science, we're trying to see how to use Go for simple EDA, right? So in the previous tutorials, you have seen how to do some basic stuff. You have seen how to work with variables, arrays, maps, and then slices in Go. You know, go into functions and the rest. There are a lot of videos available to help you with that. We just picked some of them to explain what we can do with it in data science. And then we saw how to use Go for statistics, and then now we saw how to work with our project structure. And let's see how to do data analysis and how to work with CSV files in Go. This is the part that is sometimes very difficult and maybe time consuming, because as I said earlier on, if you want to do EDA, massive EDA in data science using Go, it's going to be very difficult, right? Because they're not, it is still upcoming. You have to use Python. Python will be better. But let's move on. That is my own opinion. Let's see how to try it out using Go. So we'll be starting from scratch. Go back to my requirements. So this is what we learned previously. So in case you want to do any EDA activity inside Go, these are the packages that you can use. For statistics, we have GoNum, we have Stars from Montana Fly, right? Of course, there are lots of packages, but these are the ones. For EDA, we saw that we can use GoTa. So GoTa is a very nice library and a very nice package to help you do data analysis. We have QFrames. We also have DataFrames Go. Of course, there are a lot. So let's see how to work with it. So we're trying to see how to install these particular packages and where to find them and how to set up your project structure. So I just go back to my browser. To be able to find any package, just go to package.dev.go. Then you can search for that particular package that you want to install, right? So we already learned that to install a package, just go to Go-Dev. So let's see the package we're using. So we're using DataFrame. So let's go with DataFrame. If I go with DataFrame, it's going to list all the particular packages that have the word DataFrame. So this is the first one from current, which is a GoTa library, which is referring to this particular GoTa package, right? Which is this one, right? So to install it, just copy this one here. The same thing. This link here is the option to copy it, right? So I can just copy this one, or I can just click on it and you see the installation. But this is the simplest way of copying it, of downloading a particular package. So this is it. This is the documentation and all the various functions and the things you can do with this wonderful package. So let's see how to install it. So as I said, to install it, the simplest way is just go with, you copy this, right? This is the package name, and then you can install it. So let's try it out. So I'll just go back to my terminal, and then I'll just go with this option of go get, then you paste it there, right? So this is going to help us. So this is going to be the host, right? The place that is being hosted. This is going to be the organization of the user, and this is the package that we are installing, right? So let's save it. If it doesn't give you any error, that means that it has been added to your Go repositories or your Go package or your Go source library. Very interesting. So that is something very simple. So that is the package we're trying to use in this wonderful tutorial. So let's go back to our terminal, our EDA, and let's see how to work with this. I'm going to create a file inside this place. I'm going to call the file as Go Data Analysis. You can also use Go mode, right, to help you track all the packages you'll be using, but you'll be moving on straight away to make it simple for everybody. So I'm just going to call it as Go Data Analysis. Data Analysis, right, .go. That's the name of the package you are calling it, right? Perfect. So as we already learned in anatomy of any programming language for Go, you have to first of all go with package. So this package main makes it executable, as we learned earlier on. Then you need to import packages that you'll be using, right? So we'll be importing FMT to help us print our stuff. Then also need to be importing this particular library we downloaded. So this is the package, DataFrames package we'll be using to do our data analysis. Then we also need to be able to open our file. So we're using OS to open our file. Then you also need to be able to log out informations of errors using the log. So these three are part of the Go standard library. This is what we installed, right? We downloaded the form with GoGet. Now let's create our function, our main function. So this main function here is going to be our entry point, as we learned earlier on, to be able to execute or run our code. So let me explain back again. So to recap, this was the structure of any Go program or the anatomy of a Go program. The package main is going to make it executable. It's going to tell you that this is a main file, it's a main program, so you should be able to execute it. The import is what you can import, or the libraries or the dependencies you want to import. And this is the obligatory entry point, right? The main that allows it to be able to be executed. And then you can just write our code. So that is a simple overview of it. So that's what we have done here. Very simple. So let's see how to work with it. So the first thing is how to do data analysis, right? In Go. So we'll be seeing first of all how to read a CSV file, which is very important, and then we'll try and see how to do our simple EDA, right? Very simple. So let's see how to first of all open the file, open CSV, and then read them, and then do EDA on it. Some basic EDAs. So let's see how to open it. To open a file, just go with my CSV. I can call it a CSV file or CSV file, anyhow you want it to be. Then I must give it an arrow, right? Then I'll use the walrus operator. So this is how to define a variable, right? Walrus operator. Then I'll specify that I want to use the OS to open my dataset. So my dataset, if I go back and I check it out, inside my dataset I have this particular data here. All of these things, there are a lot of datasets here which we'll be trying to use. So we can be using the iris, but let's use the diamonds dataset because iris is common. So perfect. I'll come back here. I'll go into my folder data. Then I'll just go with my diamonds.csv. So that is how to open a file. So this is all you need, right? Very simple. But we must be able to log out errors in case there are errors. So how do we do that? So realize that the moment I just saved it, the FMT and then the log is gone, as well as the package we pasted. The reason is that if you declare something, you have to use it, right? That's why it's coming, but it will come back again, don't worry. So now I'm just going to go back and then create an if my error is not equal to none, it's not equal to nil, right? Then I want you to do some other stuff, right? If it's not equal to no, if it is not nil, this is very important. I want you to log that particular error. So fatal, then the error. So this is all that you need. So the most important thing you need is that the log has come back. The most important thing you need is this option. This is the most important thing. This is required to help track your errors, right? Very simple. So we have seen how to open the file. Now, how do you read the particular file? So to read the file using the DataFrame package to help us with that. So let's call just my df, use the walrus operator, then go with my DataFrame, right, which is already coming. So VS Code is helping us, right, with all of these things. I'm just going to read CSV. You can read JSON. As you can see, we can read a lot of files. With this particular package, you can read JSON, you can read CSV, and the rest. CSV. Now passing my file, so CSV file. So this is the file that I've opened, right? Very simple. You can see these are all the functions from it. Perfect. So that is how to read it. So let's save it. It has already come. Perfect. Now, how do we see the file, right? So let's see the file. Going to be my fmt dot. You can see that it is not here, but by the time I finish, it's going to be imported here. fmt.print line. Now passing my data frame that I want to view. Data frame. So let's save it. So that the FMT has come, right? Very cool and very nice. So that is how to work with Go. Go is very simple, especially if you are using a test editor like Golang or VS Code. Now let's read it out, right? Let's print it out. So to execute it, just go with Go. Let's go back to our location. So cd into my Go EDA. Then just run the particular package. We have 3 files here. We have the Go data analysis and Go stats. This is what we did in the previous tutorial. And this is the current one. So to run it, just going to be go run my Go data analysis. Let me bring myself down here. So this is me, in case you have not seen me before. Okay. Right. And then to run it, just go with go run. Just go to run it and print out the result on this particular file for us. That is how to work with it. So you have seen how to work with CSV files in Go. Very cool, very nice. So it's a lot of data, right? That's why it's taking some time. Perfect. So you just can see that just read our data set for us. Very cool, right? So this is the data set that we are trying to work with. That is something very nice we can do with it, right? Very cool. So that is how to do that. So the first thing is to know how to open the particular file. You open it with OS, right? Then you log out the errors that is going to come. Perfect. So this is important to help you in case there's an error. It's going to tell you that there's an error. So let's intentionally make a mistake and call this one as X, right? Let's save it and let's run it again. We are intentionally making a mistake to show you the importance of the logging of the error, right? It's going to tell me that it couldn't find the file. So in case you have any questions or contributions, you can just put there. So that's open file. So it's giving us this particular error, right? Very nice. That is the importance of it. So now let's go back and see some other stuff you can also do. Some basic EDA stuff you can do with our open data. So I'll hide this one out because we don't need it again. Now, anytime you declare something, you have to work on it. So let's see how to first of all check for the shape of our data set. So how do you check for the shape of it? So it's going to be this. So you can just give it any particular option of it, and every shape is going to have a row and then a column, right? In case you're trying to check for the shape of something, bring it to the top. There's a row and a column. Then it's going to be my df, right? Dot dim. So dim is going to be the dimensions, right? Perfect. So this is going to unpack it into this particular two variables. Some of the functions return two values, others return one. So in case it returns two value, you must put it there's a row and then column. Now to print it out, I can just go with this option. So fmt dot print line. I want to print out my rows, right? And you can see that this is giving us an error. There's a red line under. So the reason it's giving us this red line under, if I click on it, it's telling me that undeclared name, right? The reason it's giving us this error is that this is not how we declare a variable in Go. We can make it like this, right? And it's going to, the error is going to go, right? Or we can just use the short format. So the short format is going to be this, the warriors operator. So this is simple, right? To save you a lot of typing. Very nice. Now, after that, I just go back again and then pass in my row. Or I can call it as my shape of data of df, right? Then let's pass in our row and then our column. So if I save it now and I come back now, right, I can now print it out perfectly. So let's run it again. Go to open a file, go to print out our shape and our row for us. That is how to work with it. So the shape of our data frame, we have these rows and then these columns. That is how to get the shape of dataset. In case you want to get everything individually, right? In case I want to get only the row, so get only row. Very simple. You can just go with this option. So let's go with fmt dot print line. I don't want to be stored inside the variable. I just go with df dot end row, right? If I go with end row, we can just print out only the row, right? Very simple. So let's print it out. Let's save it. Come back again. Run it. You can get only the row, right? So that's how to get only the row. In case I also want to get only the columns, I'll just go with end call. So let's try that one out. So get only columns. So fmt dot print line my df dot end call. So this is just to get only the row shape or the row size and the column size. Right, so that has given us the rows, right? That is about 5,394 data points, and the row is 10, right? That's how to get the column size. So if I save it now, I can also get that one for the other one. So let's come back and print it again. In case I also want to get for the names, the column names, which is very important. So get column names. How do we do that? So that has printed the same thing for us. To get the column names is very simple. So I'm going to call it as my column names. So fmt dot print line. I'll pass in my df dot names. If I df names, it's going to give us the column names. So let's write it again. So go run GoDataAnalysis.go. It's going to give us the column names. So these are all the column names that we have, right? So we have caret, cut, color, clarity, right? Perfect. That's how to get the column names. So what about if I want to get the data type? So it's going to be fmt.println, right? I'm going to go df.types. So this is going to give us the data types, right? So I'll come back again, clear of this, and run it. Very cool. So you have seen how to do some simple data analysis in Go. So this is going to be the data types for all of them. Very good. So for the caret is float, the cut is string, and the rest. That's how to get the data types. Now let's see some other stuff you can also do. In case I also want to get some descriptive statistics, so this describe, right, or summary, as we always do in pandas, you can also do the same thing. You can go with fmt dot print line, right, and this is going to be the summary. Or let's not give it a name, let's go straight away. Yeah, let's go to summary. Cancel summary. right? In case I want to get a summary, I can just go with my df, right, dot describe. This is going to return a data frame, right? And I can run it again, then can get it as a summary. The summary of the entire data set together with the mean, the standard deviation, the percentiles, and then some basic counts. So let me expand it so I can see it well. Now if I expand it, you can see that now it has given us the mean, median, standard deviation, mean, just like in pandas, right? Very cool and very nice. So that is some basic stuff you can also get from it. So this is some of the basic things you can also do. Now let's see how to also not just get the summary and all of these things. In case I also want to check for select a column, this is going to be selection. How do you do make selections, right? To select a particular column. So we can select selection of rows, this selection of columns, and then rows. So how do you select? So you can select columns by the column name. You can also select columns by the index, right? So let's see how to select a column by the column name. So to do that, just go with my df.select. Let's print it out. So let me make it like this. So fmt.print line, right? I want to get the column, so df.select. That's what we used to do to select a particular column, right? So select a column. I'm selecting by the column name. We realize that we had the column names here, which was these ones. So let me hide these ones, hide the describe, hide the type. So we see the column names again. So let's save it and then let's get it out. I want you to get the column names and you try and select by the column name. So you just go with df.select, then you specify the name that you want, right? So in case you only want one, you can also use that option to select that particular column name. So you can just put in the column name. So let's put a column name like you want to get the carrot, right? Because it's about diamonds. It's taking some time for it to load, but we already know that there's carrot there. Right, so perfect. It has given us this error, but because of this, we hide it, we hid it. So we have the carrot column here. So in case I want to select it, I'll just go back again, and now I can select it. It's going to work and pick only that carrot column, right? Very cool. That is how to select a column by name. In case I want to select by index, I can also do the same thing. So fmt.print line df.select. I want column index 0, right? So this is index. This is going to pick that particular one for us. Or let's pick index number 1, which is going to be the cat, right? So this is 0, 1. So I can just come back again, print it out. You can get the carrot column and then the cat column as index 1. Very cool. So that is how to make selections of columns using the select option. What about if you want to select multiple columns together, right? So this is multiple column selection. So in pandas, you have done something like this, df, then by name, you're just going to go with this option of, let's say, column A, and then column, or let's say in pandas, use the same values, carrot, then cat, right? That is in case you were working inside pandas. This is for pandas. So how do you do the same thing in Go using this particular package, GoTa? So it's very simple. It's going to be my package that I want to do. So fmt.print line, right? And I'll just go with my df.select, right? And as you know, this here in pandas, right, or in Python, is a list, right, or it's an array of a string. So in the same way, in case you want to select that one, you must supply an array of a string. So it's going to be, or a slice. So we don't know, you can just put 2 there, but empty. The type is going to be a string, right? And then you specify what you want to pick. So this thing here is the most important thing. So this is just going to be the array that you want to select. So this is the array I want to select, or the slice I want to select, and I'll put in my value. So I want to put in caret, and this one's going to be cat, right? So this is how to do that. So this is the same thing as doing this here in Python, right? You're supplying a slice. So this is a slice, or yeah, an array, but now it's a slice. So that's what we want to do. I'll copy this, comment this one out, and let's paste it here. I paste it here. Now we can get it out. So let's save it, and let's hide this one and hide this one, so that we clear our screen. Save it, come back, and then run it again. So that is how to select multiple columns, right? So you can, knowing the column names, you can use this particular approach to select multiple columns. So it's supposed to be a slice or an array. Okay, it's taking some time. So in case you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the comment section below. And I hope you are enjoying this, and I hope I'm not too fast, right? So the basic idea is that you just need to get a package you want to use to do whatever you want to do. You need OS to read your file. You open your file using OS. You log out the errors. Then in case you want to read a CSV file, just go with this option. To read the file, then you can get the dimensions using this option. You can get the rows, you can get the columns, you can get the column names, the shape, and the rest. So that has given us these two columns. That is how to do multiple selection. Now, how do you select rows? Selection of rows, right? So to select the rows, you can use there are a lot of ways, but you can use a subset to help you, which is similar to using something like ilog, right? So index location, right? Ilog in Python. So it's going to select that particular index by the index and everything. So it's going to be my fmt dot print line, then df, right, dot subset. I pass in the particular one I want to subset. I want to get row 0, right? So it's going to print this one, everything. So it's going to print 0.23 for that particular index, right? So that is how to select it. So come back again. You run it again so that you see the difference. So in case you have any question, let me know, right? And in case you're enjoying the stuff, let me know. You can see how it is exciting to do this in Go, but in Python it would have been very easy. Okay, see that now it has selected that particular row for us, only that row by the index, and the index is the one we are seeing here, right? Index 0, that's what we selected. So that's given us the same thing there as we said earlier on, right? 0.23, same thing. We select everything for that together with the digits type and some exciting information. That is how to select rows using Go. Of course, there are a lot of things you can do, but this is going to be the basics. Now, how do you also work on functions? How do you work on functions, or let's say series, right? So in case you want to work on apply functions to it, right? So let's see how to apply conditions. Let's apply a condition to it, then we'll move on to series and apply functions, right? So in case I want to apply a condition to a particular stuff, how do we do that? In case I want to apply a function to a particular column, how do we do that? So let's use the first one to apply a function on a series. Then I'm changing it anyway. So to create a series, you don't do this. If I do df.select, it's good, but it's going to return the data frame. So the best option is to use a series, right? So how do you select a series? Just go with df.call, then specify the particular column that you want. So in this case, I want the caret column, right? Perfect. So this is going to select only the caret column and then return it as a series, right? Don't forget. So let's go to ds for series, then create a warris operator. So this is going to return a series, right? That you can do a lot of things with it. Perfect. So let's print it out. So df, so fmt.printf, the data type, it's going to be a data frame, but specifically it's a series, right? So \n, then let's pass in our ds. So let's save it. Let's hide these ones because we are no more using them. Let's hide this one. We are no more using them to save our space. So let's go back here, clear off the screen, run it, and you're going to see that this is going to give us our data type of being a data frame, which is still a series anyway. So that is how to do that. So this df.call is going to return a series. Don't forget that. Then you can do any form of manipulation you want to do on that particular stuff. So I can even print it out. Let it finish running. And as you can see, the type is a series, right? Very nice. I can actually print it out. So fmt.print line that data series, right? So the type, as you know, is a series, right? And then you can actually print it out. So that is how to work with series. So after getting it as a series, then you can apply whatever you want to do with it. This is the simplest format. Of course, there are a lot of things you can do, but this is just to give you a simple overview of that. So let's see how to apply a function to this particular stuff. We'll be applying a function. Right, so we'll be trying to get the mean. So in case I want to get the mean, that's giving us all of these particular values, right? And it's a lot, so it can freeze my system if I don't take it, because there are a lot of values there. It's making a copy. It's going to generate a copy of that particular series so that you can manipulate it, right? So I prefer to hide it immediately. I don't want to cloud that particular place. In case I want to find the mean of this, right? To get the mean of the entire stuff, so you can call it as, let's call it as to say my mean, right? My mean, yeah. Then, or let's make it data series mean. So ds mean. Right now, since this is a series, I can just go with ds data series, right? Dot, because there we have all of these things: name, compare, concat, element, copy, all of these things. And I can just go with mean, right? And I can just get a mean. I can get a median. So fmt dot print line the mean of series, right? So if I go with my ds mean, we can also get it out. So it's going to make a copy of it and return as a series, then give us the mean, calculate the mean of that one, right? You can also use, so it has given us the mean, right? The mean of that particular series. But you can also apply a lot of things, not just find the mean. You can also check if there are missing values in them. So let's check and see if there are missing values. So how do we do that? Go fmt.println, passing my data series dot is, we have what is na, right? You can also check the same thing. It's going to tell us how many of them are missing, and it's going to be a lot, right? It's going to be too huge. So that's another way of doing it, right? So this is going to print a lot of values. So let's save it and let's try it out. To print a lot of false negative to tell you how many of them are missing values, how many of them are not missing values. So that is how to check for missing values, right? Using the SNAN. You can actually count them using maybe the length or any other format. Now let's see how to apply. It's giving us no field, so there are no missing values within them, right? It's supposed to be NaN, not this option. Yeah, right. That's why it gives us this error. That's one nice thing about Go. It was underlining it, but we wanted to just go ahead and do it. Okay, so that is how to work with it. So let's check one thing. How do you apply a condition? How do you apply a condition or a filter? That's giving us false. So you can count the number of false and then the rest. So how do you apply a condition to what you have done? So we're trying to see how to do that. Okay. So that is how to work it with it, right? You can actually apply a function in case you want to apply a particular function on a series. So let's say I want to find the mean of this particular stuff. I can also do the same thing. So let's say go num. Let's create another stuff. Let's call that gmean, right? Geometric mean, and I can just go with this option of my using the stat model from Go num stats, right? Remember that it's 1s dot mean, right? And I'm going to apply a particular function on it, right? I'm applying this mean function on my data series or my series mean. Remember that it goes with the nil, right? So that is another way of doing it. So this is another option of working on it. Then I can just print it out as my fmt.println the go num mean, right? for that particular series. I'm just passing my g mean. That's another way. So you can actually apply a particular function on it, right? Very simple. And one of the two is that in case you are doing it like that, you must always make sure that you convert it to float. So you convert it to float to be able to allow it to work well. So that is how to work with it. So float 64, float 32, and the rest. Right, so let's run it again. So I'm going to run it with go run go data analysis. Let's go. So that's one of the ways, right? It's giving us an error because it's 64. So let's make sure that it is float 64. We can just run it without it. So let's take it off. So that's one of those. You can actually apply a function, but you have to make sure that the function you're applying obeys all the rules. It's still giving us an error, right? So you're saying that you cannot use dim and try type as type. So that is why it's giving us this particular error. But you can see how the idea goes behind, right? You can actually apply a function to this particular stuff they have created, right? That's something very cool, something very nice. So let's move on and then do some other stuff we can work on. Right. So the reason it's giving us zero is I'm trying to apply it on the mean. So let's apply it on the data series. So when I did it dot, we can do float. So that's what you're trying to do. So my bad, right? Now if I run it, sometimes you have to read errors. It's going to give us our result perfectly. So that's another way. You can actually apply a function on a series, right? So this is another way of applying the function on a series. So that's giving us the series, right? The mean, which is the same thing as above, right? Very cool. Now let's move on to how to apply a condition, or how to apply a condition via filtering, right? So to apply a condition via filtering, just go with this option. Okay, so let's see how to work with this. So to be able to apply a function, right, or a filter to a condition, we can use the F structure, right? The filter structure, right? F. The term F is a filter structure. So that is how it is. So it goes with this option. So it's a struct or a structure which has take the column name, right? The particular column that you want to apply a condition on. Then the comparator, it can be equal to, less than, or the rest. And then the operand, that is the particular stuff you want to do, whether you want to check whether it is true, false, it contains a particular value. So let's see an example. So I'll just take this one off and let's put inside our readme so I can use it later on in the future. So this is F struct, right? So let's make it like this, right? Perfect. So let's see how to work with it, right? So as I said, it takes the column name and then the comparator, right, as well as the interface. So let's check it out. So let's try a simple option. So what I will do is that I'll just uncomment this one out. I'll uncomment this series out. This time we're applying a function not on a particular series, but you're applying the function on the entire stuff, right? So let's save it. And let's just print out some part of the values. Let's print just the names or the data type. I want to find something that we can work on. So let's select this one. Yeah. So we have color, I'm sure. Or let's check which one again. Yeah, the color is going to give us red and the rest, right? So let's check that one out. We want to get all the colors that meet a particular condition. So I can just go back and do it. fmt.print line. You can notice that I took away the camera. Let's go with color. I want to get all the color column. So let's print it out. And we want to get the color, different types of color. I want to apply a condition to find all the rows or all the data points that is having like a particular color, right? So the color we had here was we had EEE JJJ, right? So that is the color. That is okay, but I think we can do better. We can use the Z. Let's check the price. I want something that is more informative. Perfect. Okay, the price is too also high. So let's check another one, which is going to be the clarity. Hopefully the clarity is categorical. Oh, that is bad. Let's go with Z. Column Z. I don't know what Z is. I hope Z is a categorical data. Let's read the entire stuff. Let's read the entire data frame. So fmt.println df. Let's read the entire stuff. I want to see some columns that I can actually use, right? Okay, so we have, it seems that the column we can use now is the cut, right? The color, the carrot, the cut, and then yeah, I think this is the price. Let's make it better. Okay, I think the cut is a good option we can use, right? So let's use the cut because we have ideal, premium, good. So I want to select all the columns, all the data points that are premium, right? So how do we do that? So I just come back again to what we have been doing and let's check it out. So I'll just take off this. We don't need it again. I'm going to select only that particular column that is having the good cut so that we can see it. So to work with it, just go with this option. Apply the condition. Let's go to, so these are the colors. So we can say that it's premium, right? Then I'm going to apply the condition to it. So data frame, I want to filter, that is a term, filter, then I'll pass in the data frame dot f. So dot f, the structure, and it takes, it's a data type, right? It's a struct. Then as I said, it takes the column name. So the column name we are using is the cat column. Then we take the particular type of comparator, right, as we saw earlier on. So the comparator we want to get it as is must be equal to then the comparander, right? So this is what we are trying to do. We are checking whether it's premium. So the column name has been selected. The comparator, which can be equal to, less than, it can be equal to, greater than, all of these particular operators. Then comparander is what you want to do, right? What you are comparing against, right? So I come back again, then I specify that I want it to be equal to these values. I want it to be equal to premium. Right? So that is how it is. So let me expand it and explain. So I want to apply a condition. The condition is I want to find all parts of the data set, all data points from the cat column, right? Column name that is equal to premium, right? That is premium as you are seeing here, right? So that is what you are trying to do. So I'm using the word is premium. So it's going to return it all the place that is premium. Then to bring it out, you can use it with fmt.println is premium. So now it's giving us the dimensions. I can get the dimensions. I can describe the dimensions. I can do all of these things, right? So let's print it out first. Perfect. There's no errors. Hopefully there's no errors. Let's check it out anyway. It's giving us the green line, the yellow line, but let's try it. Perfect. So as you can see, it has given us our result. So the result has come back. So these are all the places that is having premium. You can see from here that all of these things are premium. I've reduced it so that you can see it very well. So all of these things are premium. For the cut, only these ones are premium, right? Very cool and very nice. So that is how to apply a particular function or condition on a data frame, right? So you first go with this data F structure, right? You specify the column you want to specify. You specify the separator, comparator, right? The series comparer, right? And then the comparando, right? So the comparator is the particular stuff you want, right? So I can use it to do a lot of things. I can also get the dimensions dot end-time. Can also join them, right? So instead of printing everything, I want to just get only the dimensions. So let's run it again. So that is something very cool. So these are the only columns, the number of columns that have this particular option. So you can even use this one to do value count, right? To get the value count for the entire stuff. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Of course, there are a lot of things you can do with this wonderful package. To get more, you can just go back to the official website, which is here, right? This is going to be from package.go.dev. You can just check the documentation. There are a lot of things you can do, but time will not permit us to go through all of them. You can join, you can copy, you can do cross join, you can drop stuff, you can rename, you can do maps, you can mutate, you can do some basics. I can even write it to CSV and write it to JSON after you're finished doing whatever you want to do, after you're doing analysis. But as I said, you can even apply functions to it. So write apply, write bind. You can also column column apply. The C apply means column apply a function to a series, and then column bind a series, right? So that is something very simple. So thank you for watching. This C bind is used to rename in case you want to add a particular column to what you have done. You want to add another whole column to what you have, right, as a column. So let me show you an example of how it is. They did not give an example, but you just pass your column, you add that column to it. So thank you for watching this long tutorial. So you have seen how to work with data analysis, right? Do simple EDA in Go using the package GoTa, right? You have seen how to read a file using this option. You have seen how to open a CSV file, how to read it, how to do some basic analysis of getting the shape, the dimensions, the data type, the summary of them. You have seen how to select rows and then how to select columns. You have seen how to apply functions to them. You have seen how to apply conditions to them. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the comment section below and check the links below for more. See you another time. Stay blessed. Bye.